Big question. Does the Death Star UCS set mark the end of the Diorama subseries? Let's find out. Let's have a little bit of a chat about it. So, big question in my mind this year has been, since the Death Star's come out, is that now marking the end of the Diorama subseries? The reason I'm thinking that is because we've had a few of the dioramas over the years. We've had, obviously, since 2022, the original three came out, which was the trench run I've got here, trash compactor, and of course the Dagobah training. I think they're the three best ones that came out in the sub theme. Of course, we've had a few other little mini ones outside of the main sub theme, which are like gift with purchases or special edition ones, or limited edition things, including the little Hoth one you could get and things like that. But since then, we've only really had three others, haven't we? We've had the Endor Speed Chase, we've had the Throne Room Diorama, and we have had the Pod Racing Diorama as well. So it's a tricky one, isn't it, this question? Because I thought the dioramas looked good. I mean, this one, I'll do a lot of close-up of it here, but this is one of my favourites. It's a great classic one of the key moments in the original trilogy from the very first film. Obviously, this one as well. This is a completely different style of diorama, really. You've got the trash compactor, you've got the walls that go in, you've got R2-D2 and C-3PO on the back. Great printing on it. And then, of course, the Dagobah training, which I don't have, but I always wanted that one. It kind of slipped the net, really, that one did, because I got these two instead. But they're good dioramas. We only ever had two others from the original trilogy, and only the one from the prequel trilogy, which was, of course, the pod racing, which I thought was quite good. And I actually thought that might be the start of a set of prequel ones. But of course not. It's fizzled out. So what's happened to this theme? Are LEGO stopping it? Have they taken a bit of a break to see how people react? Did the pod race maybe not sell very well and they've thought, do you know what, we'll cut that theme now? I think personally they killed it a little bit with the price of the Throne Room Diorama, because that was a lot, £90 for a diorama set, when these are designed to be small sets that fit on your shelf, that just show a little snippet of one of the films, one of the scenes we really like. These two, I think, are really well done. I expected to like the trench run more, and the greebling on it and the detail on it is brilliant, and the sizing of it just shows that scene really well. And I do love it. And of course, you have got a little cheeky little pink piece in the middle there, which is just great as a little secret. But the trash compactor one, that blew my mind. I sort of got it thinking, oh, okay, that's quite a cool scene, I'll get that. And then actually building it was fun. It was quite a lot of little tiny pieces in the bottom, I won't lie, so that bit was a little bit tedious, but I enjoyed the mechanism, I enjoyed building it, I enjoyed you've got R2-D2 with his back and front printing on it. You haven't got C-3PO, this dual molded leg, which is a shame. We haven't got the silver leg on him, but they're having these guys in here and having the walls. The mechanism's great. I'm forever like changing how far they've kind of nearly been crushed on my shelves, which is brilliant. And obviously Dagobah training, that looked like a great set. I've seen loads of good reviews about that. Again, that was a bit higher priced than these ones, and they did go on offer, a lot of them, but the Throne Room one was just mega, £90, that's crazy, and there's a lot of pieces in it, nearly 1,000 pieces for such a small set, but it was crazy. And my train of thought here is leading me to, has the Death Star replaced this? We all know what it looks like, we've all seen the hype, the reviews, the negative reviews, the positive reviews. Obviously the negatives tend to be outweighing the positives at the minute. There's a lot of people I've seen who have found it a nice set. But of course, a mega UCS set like that, at that price, that's insane. It's massive. And my train of thought is that that's kind of this kind of dollhouse diorama setting. It's basically replaced the Death Star trash compactor scene. It's got a small version of this. It doesn't look to be much smaller than this one. It's hard to tell. But it's basically replaced this, and it's replaced the Throne Room. So you've got two of the only 5 ever dioramas they've made. 6 dioramas they've ever made in that set already. And then you've also got other ones like the meeting with Grand Moff Tarkin and Darth Vader and his your strange religion, Darth Vader, and all that stuff. It just seems like kind of a set of tiny dioramas, which I suppose is what it is. It's designed to be like that, but we haven't had any of these for a while now. The last one was obviously the Pod Racer a couple of years ago now, and it's a good set. I like the look of it, but it just didn't really scratch that itch that I needed. You know, I didn't specifically need that set. So I wonder whether maybe some prequel fans are like, yeah, it's great, but it's not really giving me the scenes I want. And then it led me to think, what would Star Wars do if they did other dioramas? I mean, I've got some notes here of what I was thinking about, but, you know, idea-wise, but imagine like a diorama like this one. Imagine having, I mean, it'd be difficult to do in episode 3, but the battle over Coruscant, imagine, you know, Anakin and Obi-Wan's Jedi fighters going over the, you know, surface of a massive capital ship or something, Trade Federation ship, you know, something like that, or obviously General Grievous's flagship, for example. Perfect, that'd be good. We've already had obviously the midi scale ship of that, but having them flying over the surface of it, or having a load of little tiny, even like micro scale ones or something, slightly bigger diorama. Or you could even have, dare I say it, from the sequel trilogy. I know this is going to cause a lot of mixed feedback, but I think a visually stunning one would be, it's Crate, you know, the salt planet with a, you know, when the speeders are going along, you get that beautiful kind of visually impressive red lines in the white salt coming out. I think that would be a really cool scene. Like, again, in this kind of scale, you could have like the speeders going along and like the walkers the other side. I just think, although I know the film was quite harshly criticised and there's good moments in it, there's bad moments in it, and obviously a sequel trilogy in general, let's not talk about them necessarily in too much detail, but I think they are going to start coming to their own again, a bit like how the prequel trilogy was originally received quite negative feedback, and now that's coming back. I think we could get the same again with the sequel trilogy, and Crate as a visually impressive diorama piece could be pretty cool. Or you could do the other really controversial moment in the film, and I don't mean Superman Leia, I mean the bit with the Supremacy breaking in half as a, you know, Lion ship goes straight through it in light speed, and I think that was cinematically, I know that's crazy, there's loads of opinions all over the internet on this, but for me, when I watched the film, that was the one moment in the film I thought, wow, that just looks stunning on the screen, on a big cinema screen. So if they could somehow create this ship blowing apart with pieces, I don't know, it'd be very difficult to do that. It's just my brain thinking, oh, what could they do with the sequel trilogy? You could obviously do other ones as well, there's other bits you could do. I think let's leave Exegor out of this. There's no point even thinking about doing that, because that's just a ridiculous part of the film, let's be honest, that whole section. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, Death Star just seems to be one of these things signalling, let's not do any more dioramas. Let's start bringing out UCS sets that are like dollhouse style dioramas. Let's show off all these things in one. You have to pay massive money for them. Let's get rid of these little ones here and make room for one massive one. Because that's, you know, part of the Death Star, you know, nearly a quarter of it is made up with 2 dioramas that already exist. It seems a bit strange that they've done that, even though obviously you kind of have to have the throne room in there and you have to have the trash compactor if you're making the Death Star. It's a bit weird. And in a way, the trash compactor, although it's a smaller version, from what I've seen of the Death Star model, it looks cooler, because as you squeeze it in and you do the thing, the little eye of the little creature pops up, whereas in this one, it's kind of always there and it's just a little red bit of Lego, a transparent piece. So, I mean, I'd be interested to hear any thoughts anyone has on this, because I don't know whether they might bring them back. It's a bit like, you know, with the helmet theme, that kind of fizzled out a bit, and then suddenly, bang, 8080 driver, Jango Fett's helmet. Good comeback, I think, personally. Brilliant. Obviously, you had Rex's helmet as well. Commander Cody, brilliant stuff there as well. If you're into the Clone Wars and the, you know, the prequel side of things, that was a good way of bringing those back. So they might do something like that with these. I think there's loads of things you could do with the, you know, loads of dioramas you could pick. Even if you went off-piste a bit, let's take the films out of the equation for a minute. Let's go Mandalorian. What about the Crate Dragon coming out of its, you know, or you could do some of the other scenes, I don't know, the spider things going over the Razor Crest. They would be quite cool, but again, that's not one of my favourite parts of the Mandalorian, if I'm honest. Or even Gorian Shard's pirate ship. You know, that would be quite cool, where they have the battle over Navarro. But there's loads of different options. I mean, I'm spitballing now, but honestly, it's an interesting query to think about. You know, I think they might come back if enough fans want it, but I think they fizzled it out a bit, really. The Endor Speed Chase seemed a bit overpriced for what you were getting in the box, and the Throne Room diorama was just really high priced, and unless you could get that on some kind of deal, which it didn't seem to go on much, then that's hard to buy. So anyway, I'd be interested to know what you guys think. check out the next video on the retiring sets coming up at the minute. We've got the X-Wing one up at the moment, and we've got one on the Ghost, the Pit of Sarlacc, and of course the Tantive 4. So I'd be interested to show you the bits on there as well if you want to come watch the video. That's coming up here. But also, in the meantime, thanks for watching. As always, appreciate it. I'll see you on the next one. Keep bricking it, like, subscribe, etc. And let's see if we get any more dioramas.